Somewhere between Florida, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico lies a stretch of ocean where time bends. Compasses fail, and entire vessels vanish without a trace. In this chilling countdown, we dive into the top 10 unsolved mysteries of the Bermuda Triangle. From military squadrons that disappear mid-flight, to ghost ships found eerily adrift with no crew, and even modern pilots claiming to fly through time warps. But here's the twist. Some of these cases have no natural explanation. No storms, no distress calls. Just silence. Is it science? A cover-up? Or something far more unearthly? Get ready to question reality, because these stories don't just defy logic, they rewrite the rules of time, space, and fear. Number 1. Flight 19, the original mystery. On a clear December day in 1945, 5 Grumman TBM Avenger Navy bombers took off from the Naval Air Station in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, heading out on what was supposed to be a routine training mission. Over the Atlantic Ocean, the Squadron 14 experienced crew members in total were scheduled to complete bombing exercises and then return to base by late afternoon. But what happened next would ignite one of the most enduring and chilling mysteries in American history. As the planes flew east over the shimmering blue waters of the Atlantic, something went terribly wrong. The flight leader radioed in, confused about their exact position. Compass readings were off, and radio communications became increasingly frantic. Despite repeated attempts to regain their bearings, the squadron vanished from radar without a trace. Hours later, a rescue plane dispatched to find them also disappeared, swallowed whole by the vast ocean. Search and rescue teams scoured the area for diver-craft ships, and thousands of personnel combing the waves and skies, but they found nothing. No wreckage, no oil slicks, no survivors. The official Navy report was baffling. It was as if the entire squadron and the rescue plane had simply been erased. The disappearance of Flight 19 was more than a tragic accident. It was the spark that lit the flame of the Bermuda Triangle legend. Over the decades, countless theories have emerged. Navigational errors, magnetic anomalies, mysterious weather patterns, even supernatural forces. Yet, despite all the speculation, Flight 19 remains the haunting symbol of the Triangle's unsolved secrets and American mystery that refuses to fade away. Number 2. USS Cyclops disappearance in March of 1918. The USS Cyclops, a colossal Navy collier, nearly the size of a small city, set sail from the bustling port of Barbados, bound for Baltimore. On board were more than 300 crew members, sailors, engineers, officers, all entrusted with the vital task of delivering coal to fuel the U.S. Navy's growing fleet. During World War I, the Cyclops was a sturdy ship, built to endure the harshest seas, and her crew was experienced and disciplined. But somewhere in the vast turquoise waters of the western Atlantic, the Cyclops vanished. No SOS signals crackled over the radio. No distress flares lit the night sky. It was as if the ship and everyone aboard had simply been erased. Coast guards, naval vessels, and planes scoured thousands of miles of ocean, but the sea offered no clues, no wreckage, no bodies, nothing to hint at what had happened. The mystery deepened because the Cyclops was not alone in facing strange fates in these waters. Over the years, her disappearance became the U.S. Navy's largest non-combat loss of life. A haunting chapter in the Bermuda Triangle's growing legend. Speculation swirled. Some blamed bad weather, structural failure, or enemy action, but no evidence ever confirmed any theory. For the families left behind, and for the Navy itself, the Cyclops remains a chilling reminder of the ocean. As power to swallow whole even the mightiest vessels without a trace, deepening the enigma of the Bermuda Triangle and cementing its reputation as a place where the rules of reality seem to bend and break. Number 3. The Witchcraft Yacht Incident. On a calm summer evening in Miami, the sleek luxury yacht Witchcraft was just a mile offshore, cruising leisurely with its owner and a small group of guests aboard. The sun was setting, casting warm orange hues across the water, and the atmosphere was peaceful until the radio suddenly crackled to life with a chilling distress call. The captain's voice was calm but urgent. Something was wrong with the boat. They needed help immediately. Within 19 minutes, the Coast Guard dispatched a rescue cutter, speeding toward the yacht's last known position. The waves sparkled under the moonlight as the rescuers scanned the horizon, Usher, expecting to find the Witchcraft bobbing on the gentle sea, but when they arrived, there was nothing. No boat, no sign of passengers, no flotsam or distress signals. It was as if the yacht had vanished into thin air. Despite extensive searches in the surrounding waters and along the coastline, no trace of the Witchcraft or its passengers was ever found. The incident remains one of the most baffling vanishings linked to the Bermuda Triangle. A stark reminder that even a short distance from shore, the sea can swallow whole the most unlikely of victims without leaving a single clue behind. Number 4. The mystery of the Ellen Austin. In the late summer of 1881, the crew of a U.S. merchant ship cruising through the waters near the Bermuda Triangle spotted a ghostly sight. The Ellen Austin, a schooner drifting aimlessly with no one at the helm. The ship looked weathered and abandoned, its sails tattered, but still catching the breeze. Curiosity and duty led the American crew to board the deserted vessel, hoping to claim salvage rights and perhaps uncover what had happened to the missing crew. After securing the schooner, they placed a small team aboard to sail her to port, while the main ship continued alongside. But what happened next sent chills through everyone involved. The Ellen Austin vanished without warning, slipping out of sight into the mist. When she reappeared hours later, the schooner was eerily empty once, again a sign of the crew left to sail her. The ship was adrift, silent and mysterious, as if the sea had pulled its people into the depths. Despite the best efforts of the American sailors, the Ellen Austin vanished a second time under those same ghostly conditions, leaving behind a baffling tale of a ship that refused to stay anchored in the living world. It's a story whispered in maritime circles as one of the Triangle's oldest and most haunting mysteries, proof that sometimes, even in daylight, the ocean keeps its darkest secrets well hidden. 5. The Star Tiger and Star Ariel flights in the late 1940s. The skies above the Bermuda Triangle saw two chilling vanishings that left aviation authorities scratching their heads. The first was the Star Tiger, a British passenger plane carrying over 30 souls, which disappeared without a trace in January 1948, almost a year later. In January 1949, another British airliner, the Star Ariel, vanished from the same stretch of sky, this time with more than 20 people aboard. Both flights were routine transatlantic journeys connecting Bermuda to the United Kingdom. The weather was reportedly clear, the planes in good condition, and yet neither sent a mayday call or gave any sign of distress. No debris ever surfaced in the vast ocean below. The disappearances happened so close in time and location that suspicions grew about something lurking in those skies. Despite exhaustive investigations by British and American aviation authorities, no concrete explanation emerged. Mechanical failure, pilot error, sudden and violent weather, all possibilities were considered, but the silence of the ocean and the empty skies offered no answers. The losses of the Star Tiger and Star Ariel deepened the Bermuda Triangle's mystery, casting a shadow of fear over one of the world's busiest flight corridors. Even today, the fate of those flights and their passengers remains an unsettling blank spot on aviation's map. A cold reminder that sometimes the sky itself can turn hostile without warning. 6. The disappearance of the Caroline Deering in January 1921. The imposing 5-masted schooner Caroline Deering was found run aground on a remote stretch of the North Carolina coast. What made this discovery so chilling wasn't the ship itself. It was the eerie emptiness that greeted the rescuers. The entire crew had vanished without a trace. The Deering's decks were eerily silent, with no signs of struggle or damage. Even more baffling, the ship's logbook and all navigation equipment were missing, as if someone had deliberately erased the trail. Personal belongings lay scattered, meals half finished, nothing to explain why the crew had abandoned ship. Despite a massive search effort and endless speculation, no survivors or clues were ever found. Theories ranged from piracy and mutiny to more supernatural possibilities. Some whispered that the Caroline Deering had become one of the Bermuda Triangle's most haunting ghost ships, an abandoned vessel, cursed to drift forever without a crew, a silent witness to the Triangle's dark secrets. To this day, the Deering remains one of the Triangle's creepiest cases. It's a mystery that still sends shivers down the spines of maritime historians and sailors alike. 7. Bruce Gernon's time warp experience in the summer of 1970. Pilot Bruce Gurnon set out on what should have been a routine flight through the infamous Bermuda Triangle. Flying his light aircraft over the shimmering Atlantic, Gurnon encountered something unlike anything he or anyone had ever experienced. As he approached a strange, swirling cloud formation, Gurnon felt an almost magnetic pull. Without warning, his plane was engulfed in a tunnel-like vortex of thick fog and rolling mista. Cloud tunnel, unlike any natural weather phenomenon, time seemed to stretch and compress as the seconds warped around him. Suddenly, the instruments flickered and went dark. Radar contact with Gurnon's plane was lost, leaving air traffic controllers on edge. Then, as mysteriously as it had begun, the plane re-emerged more than 100 miles ahead of where it should have been, minutes after the passage through the fog. Gurnon's experience defied explanation. He recounted feeling disoriented, but unharmed, as if he'd slipped through a tear in time and space itself. Unlike so many others lost in the Triangle, Bruce Gurnon survived, bringing back one of the rarest and strangest first-hand accounts from this baffling region. His story sparked intense debate among scientists, skeptics, and paranormal enthusiasts alike, highlighting the Bermuda Triangle's reputation as a place where reality bends, and the laws of physics seem to falter, if only for a fleeting, bewildering moment. 8 DC-3 Flight NC-16002. On a bright January day, 1948, a Douglas DC-3 aircraft took off from San Juan, Puerto Rico, bound for Miami, Florida. On board were 32 passengers and crew, all expecting a routine flight over familiar skies. But just 50 miles from Miami, something inexplicable happened. The plane vanished without a trace. The pilot never sent a distress call. Weather reports confirmed clear skies and calm conditions. There was no warning, no hint of trouble. As controllers anxiously awaited the plane's arrival, all communication suddenly stopped. Search and rescue teams launched an extensive operation, scouring the ocean by air and sea. But despite days of searching, no wreckage, no debris, and no survivors were ever found. The disappearance baffled investigators, who faced the chilling reality that an entire commercial flight had simply disappeared off the radar. Even decades later, DC-3 Flight NC-16002 remains one of the Bermuda Triangle's most haunting mysteries, a stark reminder that, sometimes, in these waters, even the most ordinary journeys can end in total and unexplained silence. 9. The missing Avrot Tudor 4. In June 1950, an Avrot Tudor 4, a British passenger plane, embarked on a routine flight from Bermuda to Jamaica with 33 people aboard. The journey was expected to be uneventful, a short hop over the sparkling Caribbean waters. But somewhere between those two islands, the plane vanished without warning. Mid-flight, all communication with the aircraft suddenly ceased. There were no distress signals, no radio chatter, just eerie silence. The plane never reached its destination. And despite a massive search effort involving ships and aircraft scouring the Triangle's treacherous waters, no wreckage or clues were ever found. The disappearance of the Avrot Tudor 4 added another dark chapter to the Bermuda Triangle-esque growing legend, a place where even modern aviation seemed powerless against an invisible force. For the families left behind and the aviation community worldwide, the plane's fate remains an unsettling mystery, a cold case lost to the depths of the Atlantic. 10 Cessna 402 and Fred Valentich case, though far from the Bermuda Triangle. The mysterious disappearance of pilot Fred Valentich in 1978 often finds its way into Triangle lore because of its eerie parallels. Flying his small Cessna 402 over the calm skies of southeastern Australia, Valentich radioed in with a report that sent chills through air traffic controllers. He described a strange, unidentified flying object hovering above him, glowing metallic and moving in ways no known aircraft could match. "It's not an aircraft," Valentich said in his final transmission before his voice was cut off abruptly. Despite an extensive search, neither Valentich nor his plane was ever found. His disappearance remains one of aviation's strangest and most unsettling mysteries, a haunting reminder that sometimes the unknown isn't confined to any single corner of the globe, though miles away from the Atlantic's infamous Triangle. Valentich's case is often mentioned alongside Bermuda Triangle disappearances, adding another layer to the global mystery of vanishing pilots and unexplainable encounters.